Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
The answer is categorically yes.
When Wesley Clark went to the Pentagon, they told him we had plans to have regime change in 7 different countries.
Yes.
And what was on that list?
This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
Iraq, Iran, Syria,
Libya, Sudan.
Libya. Yeah, I mean, you go through
Iran. Yeah.
and so that was the game plan. What's happening now in Syria was part of a game plan.
Iran was the last.
That they were explicit about. Iran
the biggest prize of all was
crucial
Iran.
there, and they had this vision that we could do it. On January 5th, 2003, the New York Times Sunday Magazine section, big headline: "American Empire, get used to it."
Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
The answer is categorically yes. The 2 nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons, is Iraq and Iran. A 3rd nation, by the way, is Libya as well. Libya is, while no one is watching, under the cloak, is trying very rapidly to build an atomic bomb capability. So you have here now 3 nations. Not surprisingly, all 3 have been implicated in the past in terrorist activity using the clandestine means of terror and proxies. Now the question is, what's your next step? Knowing that 3 of these nations are developing nuclear weapons. This is not a hypothesis. It is fact. Iraq, Iran, and Libya are racing to develop nuclear weapons. So now what is the next step? I believe that the next step is to choose. It's not a question of whether you have to take action, but what kind of action and against whom.
I mean, they weren't even hiding it. They were proud about it at that point until things started to go haywire in Afghanistan and Iraq.
And Libya.